All right, sorry. I know you're gonna have to move something off your screen there. All right. So let's get started. We're gonna start with no hoops, and we're just gonna get the arms moving for now. So I'm just rolling my shoulders back. Yep. You can move your feet a little bit if you want. And we're going to go forward. Move those shoulders. Just starting off a little easy. Easing back into it. All right. Let's open up. Palms facing forward. Pulse forward. Or, sorry, pulse backwards. Just like so. So we're opening up the chest and squeezing those shoulder blades together. Good. Good. Now let's go up above. We're going to go up and down and up and down. Up and down. You can start a little side step and down and down and up and down. Last one and down. Good. Let's throw our bows around. There we go. Start to get into the music a little bit more. Let's go the opposite way. Good. Shake it out, shake it out. Let's move those wrists around. Good. Other way. Keep going. Just gonna spotlight myself. Yeah, good. All right, so we're gonna grab our small hoops now. And we're going to work on a little ISO flip combo. So we have done this before, so just pay attention and we will try to do this again. All right, so I've got the hoop here. I'm going to take my right hand, go across the hoop to 9 o'clock. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive the car or go over the rainbow. And now I'm at 3 o'clock, right? From here, I'm going to then flip the hoop. So what happens here is the hoop goes forward, and as it goes forward, it's now in line with me, and then I bring it over to the other side. So now I'm on the same side, right? Sorry, did I do that right? Over and flip. Sorry, we started wrong. Let's start that again. All right, so let's start at 3 o'clock. Just makes it a little easier. Okay, we're gonna go over the rainbow to the side, so now we're across. Now we're gonna flip. There we go. Now we're inside, so we're gonna draw the smiley face here, right underneath. So do a little half inside ISO, and then flip again. Look where we are. We're at the beginning. So over, flip, under ISO, flip, over ISO, flip, under ISO. Flip. Good. Really try to keep yourself in the middle of the hoop. And if you want to make it a little easier, try just lowering it down a little bit, right? So the lower it is, the easier it's going to be, especially on the top. Good. You can try to find the music. Good. Awesome. Let's try the other hand now. So we're in the left hand. We're going to start at 9 o'clock here. We're going to go over the rainbow, whoop, over the top. So now we're thumbs facing down. We're going to flip. That's maybe the hardest flip to do right there. And then we're going to go underneath. So draw that circle. Try to keep yourself in the middle. And then we're going to flip again. Now we're going to go over the rainbow and flip. Under and flip. Over and flip. Good. Just try that at your own speed. This is a great way to warm up your arms. Good job. Okay, so that looks really good, everybody. What we're going to do now is we're going to do that with 2 hands. So we're just going to do this once. And we're going to start basically at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock on the outside of the hoop. And we're going to flip the hoop like so. And then we're on the inside. So what happens here is I'm on the outside. And as I flip it, my hand flips. Okay? Then I'm gonna drive all the way across. So now I'm gonna flip it again. I'm on the outside, right? So all the way to 12 and 6, flip, 12 and 6, flip, 12 and 6, flip, 12 and 6, flip. Good. And you can make it a little more fluid. Good. Yeah. And of course from here, if you want to do any of this kind of stuff, you can go into the other combo, and then you can go into your two-handed. Okay? So that is the ISO practice for today. And we are going to get to our hip warm-up. So good job with the ISOs today. And we're just going to start with warming up our hips. Ready? Let's start with a march. So we're going to go up with our knees, up, and up. Good. Up. We're definitely going to do some twists in our warm-up today because we're going to do some breaks and paddles. And a lot of breaks will require you to twist. Good. Now let's bring our elbows to our knees. So opposite elbow, opposite knee. Yes. Make sure you're breathing. And pretend like you're having fun. Good. All right. So kick your own butt. Just like this. I got my heels coming all the way up to my butt. Jenny's having fun. You can go a little faster if you want to join me. Otherwise, you can stay at the previous pace. Good. Almost done. In 3, 2, 1. Good. Shake it out. We're going to open those hips up and out and out. Remember, this is a great time to practice your balance. Focus on a spot on the wall. Try to breathe. Good. Let's go in now. So we're going from out to in. Out to in. Yes. Good. Yes. Shake it out. I think it's time to grab our hoops. So let's grab our big hoops. And we're going to do some twists first. So holding on to our hoops, we're going to twist, open up that oblique, come back to center. We're going to twist to the other side and come back to center. So I'm twisting on the opposite foot of the side that I'm twisting towards, right? So I'm looking over my right shoulder. I'm twisting on my left. Let's try to go together. So we're going to do this tempo. We're going to go left, center, right, center, left, and right. So keep that tempo. Center, right, center. Last one. Good. Let's just get the hoop going. It's time to waist hoop. You're going to give yourself a minute just to kind of get a feel for it. Practice reactivating that core. Remember, really, really active core here. And we're not hunched over. We're going to open up our chest, roll those shoulders back away from our ears. Really activated. Good. We are going to start a side to side. So side to side, I've got my legs about shoulder width or hip width apart. And I'm going to bend my knees ever so slightly just so I don't lock them out. And I can also start to shift from side to side. That way I can get a little speed if I want for intervals later. So right now I'm dodging from side to side, just like that. I see some T-Rexing going on. Let's do anything other than T-Rex. So you can be this, it can be this, it could be this. Doesn't matter. As long as it's intentional. You can move your hands, doesn't matter. Let's go to back and forth push now. Back and forth. Right? So now I've got my 1 foot forward. Doesn't matter which one because we're going to switch it up. 1 foot forward. I've got the weight in the ball of my feet. So near my toes, I can almost lift my heel a little bit. And then I can start to spring back off that front foot and create some speed. Again, good for intervals. I know you all know how to do this. This is for the benefit of maybe a beginner watching this. All right, let's switch feet. So I've got the other foot forward and I'm just getting a feel for this. And then again, I'm gonna push the weight into my toes. See if I can lift the heel ever so slightly. You might not even be able to notice mine. And then I'm gonna spring back. And then that way I don't have to actually push like this. I'm just using the spring back motion to send my body back and forth. But of course at the tempo of the hoop. I'm activated in the core. My shoulders are back, my chest is up. And I'm almost imagining pushing out of my rib cage rather than my pelvis or my hips. All right, good. Take a little turn. All right, let's grab ourselves a drink of water. Stay hydrated. All right, we are gonna get into some paddles and breaks. So let's start with the breaks. Remember that twisting motion that we did with the hoop? We're gonna do that and we're gonna send it back. So basically what's happening here is the hoop is going one way and then you're gonna send it the other way. So if I'm going towards my right, if I'm hooping to the left, I'm gonna use my left. If I'm hooping towards the right, I'm gonna use my right and send it back, just like we're serving. So think of it as a serve, right? So I'm twisting, you can grab it with two hands, right? And send it back. That's what I think of as a reverse. It's just reversing the direction. But if you really wanna break it, get used to like barely grabbing it. So just sending it right back. I like to imagine using my full arm, right? See how I use my full arm? That helps to keep the hoops a little straighter as it falls. So boom, it helps kind of keep it going. Now, if you aren't afraid of the hoop and maybe a little baby hoop kiss and bruise, then you can try actually hitting it back. So I like to use my forearm. I like to use the side of my forearm because here is a little more sensitive if you're using the underside of your forearm. Just make sure if you're gonna do that you you follow the direction of the hoop and you follow it back. Because otherwise, if you're not moving, that's a lot of momentum going into your forearm. So you can try making sure that the hoop comes back. It's a little hard sometimes on the waist to do a break and keep the hoop straight. So feel free to come back. Remember, activate your core as you are coming back out of that break. And then just hoop again until you feel comfortable, and then you can break again. And again, this is optional, right? You can still do the reverse, or you can do the one-handed reverse, which is kind of more like a break, right? Now, with these big hoops, it's hard to do the breaks 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, but you could definitely give it a try. It's quite hard. And you really got to follow the momentum of the hoop so you don't hurt yourself. But anyway, that's a little breaks on the waist. We're going to do it on the shoulders, not quite yet. So again, if you don't know how to shoulder hoop yet, it's okay. You can continue to practice your breaks on your waist. But first what we're going to do is we're going to do some paddles, okay? So remember, paddle, you are encouraging the hoop around in the direction that it's moving, okay? So if I want to paddle when it's on my waist, as it comes around, I'm going to allow it to come to my forearm, and then I'm going to send it around, okay? So as I'm hooping, you can do this a little easier if you turn, because the hoop's rotation slows, right, when you turn. And you're just kind of, imagine wiping an imaginary table. That's what I imagine, wiping the table right? Yes, good. Excellent. Wiping the table. Now, if I go to the left, which I think everybody here hoops mainly to the left, some of you who are trying in your opposite direction. But if you're hooping to the left, we're going to call the left our power arm. This is the easiest one to get speed and power through a paddle. But you can also paddle with your opposite arm. So if you're going to the right, obviously you'll use your right arm as like the more powerful paddle, in my opinion. But you can also use the right. So it's like, I imagine the right is almost like putting your hand in your pocket, your imaginary pocket, and sending it around. Again, paddles are encouraging in the direction of the hoop's rotation. So you're always just following the hoop around. Try not to lift while you're holding the hoop, or the hoop is going to come up with you. And when I mean holding the hoop, I mean when the hoop is riding on you, right? When it's taking a ride. So whether you're doing it with your left or your right, going to the left, just make sure you kind of imagine that imaginary table. Whew. Obviously, my going to the right and left paddle is a little less strong. I don't really practice it as much, but that's okay. So that's some paddles on the waist. We're not going to spend too much time there because it's pretty self-explanatory, but definitely practice that in both directions. As you can see, you'll end up like me, not very good at them in the opposite direction. But I'd love to play with shoulders. Just for a minute, we're going to do some breaks. We're not going to do some paddles yet. But what I'd love to do is, do y'all have this one already? Does everybody have the 1, 2, 1, 2? Okay. All right, that's okay, that's okay. So just remember, what's happening is the same thing as on the waist, except now your hands are coming from below, right? So you're going into the chest and into the chest. Here's a way you can practice. So I've got my right hand and I've twisted to the right, and I'm going to bring it into my chest in the center. And as I bring it into my chest, I'm going to twist towards the right and switch hands. Right? So this is what's happening. I'm twisting, and ever so slightly with these single 1, 2, 1, 2 breaks. See, this doesn't look very good, but I have no momentum, and that's okay. It's okay to practice just your hands. And, you know, you don't have to necessarily use your hands, but once you feel comfortable, you can bring it up, and you can twist just to get it going. And if you go on a little bit of an angle, it's okay. Remember, one hand comes down, other hand comes up and up, into the chest, into the chest. So we're catching it and bringing it into the chest, right near the shoulder level. Yeah, good. And if you're not trying to do an angle hoop, but it keeps going angle, it's probably because you're angled down, right? So what you want to do is kind of over-correct. I like to almost, you know that what we were doing at the beginning where we were touching our shoulder blades together? Almost like to do that, just to overcorrect my angle so that I can stand up straight. And then I can just stand straight, activating the core. Good, everyone. I know this is not easy, right? So let's go to the break where you get a little rotation in the middle. So we're here, and what we're going to do is we're going to get 1, 2, stop. 1, 2, stop. Okay? So I'd like to work on that. Now, you don't have to be able to shoulder hoop in both directions to do this. You just need to have a really good serve and be able to follow it. And where I see people kind of having troubles is they turn too quickly. But I want you to think of it as like, we start 1 rotation, 2 rotations. So this is when you're getting the second rotation, right? That's great, Megan. 1, 2, stop. 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 Now, if you've got that 1, 2, stop already, great. Nice job, some of you. Yes, good, MG. Nice. Okay, you can actually start to hit it like you were doing this back and forth. But now you're going to hit it 1, 2, hit it back. 1, 2, hit it back. 1, 2, hit it back. The most important thing about breaks is consistency. So try not to mess your tempo up, right? And if you're not there yet, that's okay, right? You can always go back to the 1, 2, stop. 1, 2, stop. Okay? Yeah, everybody's looking good. Amazing. Yes. Yes. So really try to follow that 1, 2, stop. 1, 2, stop. 1, 2, stop. And then try to speed it up from there, your stops, and then you can start to do the hits. But remember what I said about the chest hoop, or when you start to go into angles, just to correct, it's better just to lift your chest up and roll your shoulders back just a touch if you feel the hoop is starting to go on an angle. So, yes, some progress. Woo woo! Everybody's looking great. All right, this is something that you can practice on your own and just keep it up, okay? It is such a good thing to practice over and over again because it is a flight time move. The more you do it, the better you will get. It's not something that just all of a sudden, ooh, I got it, right? It's a practice thing. I'm talking about practice, guys. All right, so let's work on some angle hooping, shall we? Just real quick, okay? Quick up and down angle. I know most of you already have your angles. MS, we were working on this yesterday. And you really had a good breakthrough, which is great. So again, if you are doing the up and down, imagine 2 targets about 2 feet in front of you and push those knees down. It's not just about knees down. So this would be a squat, right? If I'm pushing my knees down. But this, I want you to follow the line with your butt as well. So if my targets are there, I'm pushing my knees down and my butt's coming back up on that same kind of return motion, right? So it's about popping the butt too, right? So pretty, isn't it? Talking about popping butts, I love it. Yes, everybody's looking great with those angles. Okay, so again, something to practice. Just remember that if it starts going all over the place, you can try various methods. There's one where you can shift your weight out of the angle. So if my angle is going to the left, I can shift my weight into the right, and the hoop will come with. If that doesn't work for you, a new little troubleshooting thing that I figured out was that if your hoop is on an angle, unintentional angle, and it's going all wonky to one side, you can wind around in the direction of the hoop and start to correct it from there. So listen, it takes some finesse, and it's not quite the easiest thing, but just remember, it's little circles, right? Just to correct, and you have to maintain your angle. So if you are doing this and you're starting to stand up, guess what? The hoop is going to come back up with you, and you're going to end right back up here. So maintaining your angle is important, activating your core, and keeping even weight distribution in your feet, because the more evenly your weight is distributed, the better it is, especially for this up and down, right? And I am just pushing my knees down to my invisible target and keeping a nice angle. I'll show you from the side. I can do this one in my sleep now. Maybe I do. Ugh, that'd be weird for my husband. All right. So let's try the upward angle, because again, I really want to get to some barrel rolls with you. And let me just remind you what a barrel roll looks like. I go from my downward angle into my upward angle, back into my downward angle, right? So it's not just ups and downs, it's also got to turns around. So we have to work on the ups and the downs. A couple of you are already very good with your upwards angles and your downwards angles. Remember, take this class as an opportunity to practice both directions. All right, upwards angles. Literally the most, in my opinion, like goofiest looking move in hooping is the upward angle. I mean, you can really own it. I want you to own it. But just remember, for this move, again, it's coming from the legs, right? Pelvic tilt up. So think of like squeezing your butt or sucking your butt in. I say, think of Steve Urkel. Remember Steve Urkel? And he's got his pelvis forward, but we are going to activate our core and try to maintain a strong, strong glutes, okay? And if you send it around like this, basically you're going to be pushing through the belly or through the rib cage as we do with our up and down. And you can almost come up onto the balls of your feet. Yes. Introduce your pelvis to the ceiling, right? Another thing that you can think of when you're doing this is limboing. So everybody knows what limboing is. I didn't say you liked it. I just said everybody knows what it is, right? So you can imagine you're limboing underneath the limbo pole, and sometimes that helps people get that angle. Again, same things are gonna happen here. You're gonna have to distribute your weight evenly. So sometimes people who jump a little bit, it actually really helps them, because when we jump, we just kind of land a little more evenly, right? Great. Awesome. Don't worry, I'm not gonna make you do this forever, but here's that upwards angle from the front. Right. Awesome. So when you're in this upward angle, I want you to imagine that's the direction you're going to go. Whatever way you're hooping is the direction you're going to go when we start barrel rolling. And I think we're going to start doing that next week. So grab yourself a drink of water. I would like to get through intervals and core, so I don't think we're going to have time for angled shoulder hooping. But just remember, a lot of the same principles apply when you are. You can just start on an angle, send it around, and you can imagine just pulsing up and down. Now, sometimes that happens where your hoop gets a little too angly. Just make sure you're not bending down too much. And it's not just about the legs here. You will have to kind of do a little finessing with your shoulders. And if you don't already know how to shoulder hoop, that is maybe something to work on before attempting angles, because it's a whole beast. All right, so we're going to do some intervals now, and we're going to start that in about 30 seconds. If you feel like you need another drink, you do what you got to do. Mentally prepare yourself. You also want to make sure that your little hoop is close by, because we're going to do some of Amy's famous hula hoop sit-ups. All your favorites, right? All right, we're going to start at about 10 seconds, our first 30 seconds. We are going to do 30, 20, 10 intervals. So the first 30 seconds, which you can start right now. The first 30 seconds, we are going at about 50% of our capacity. So whatever you feel your 50% is, it shouldn't be too strenuous, but it should be, moving, right? And then once that first 30 seconds is over, we're going to go 20 seconds at about, let's say 75, 80%. And then for the last 10 seconds, we go hard as we can. If the hoop falls, doesn't matter. Just keep moving like a maniac. Just go for it, right? Okay, our first 30 seconds are done. We're gonna kick it up a notch for 20 seconds. And we're just gonna maybe use that dodging motion side to side. Because right now we're doing side to side. We are gonna do All right, get ready to go. Hard as you can, as hard as you can for 10 seconds. Yes. This is where we're going to get our heart rates up. 3, 2, 1, and go for a walk. And we're going to get into our back and forth push. And we're going back down to 50% for 30 seconds. So take it a little easy. You know, my furnace loves to go on as soon as I start doing intervals. Like, stop it. I don't need you right now. All right, 5 seconds. We're going to kick it up a notch. In 3, 2, 1. Let's push into the front foot a little bit, using that front foot to kind of spring us back and forth and gain a little bit of speed. All right? And again, for the last 10 seconds, you can do whatever you want. You can punch, you can scream, it doesn't matter. Ready? Go as hard as you can. This is my favorite. Back and forth for the last 10 seconds. In 3, 2, 1. Go for a walk in the direction of your hoop. And the other foot now forward. So I always want to tell you, like, whatever foot hurts the most was probably the one in the front, but that's not always accurate. All right. We're almost done the first 30 seconds. It's always like that. As you go on with the intervals, that first 30 seconds lasts a little less. All right, let's kick it up a notch. About 80% now. So you're really working hard, but not as hard as you can. And I really remember that last 10 seconds, just go for it. The idea is to bring the heart rate up and down and up and down. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. Yes, do it, do it, do it. It's only 10 seconds and it's almost over. 3, 2, 1, come back to center. And let's reverse the hoop. We're gonna do the last side to side in reverse. And if you're feeling like, oh, it's a little tender here, because that happens, you can take the hoop off and just run. You can dodge from side to side with us. But activate the core if that's what you're gonna choose. All right. We are gonna kick it up in 3, 2, 1, go. Kick it up, just a little. And hopefully you didn't eat too close to class like I did. It's always that way. All right. Oh, we're almost ready to go. Our last big 10-second push. Ready? 2, 1, and go as hard as you can. 10 seconds. I say you can do anything for 10 seconds. Go, go, go. Move, move, move. 2, 1, and go for a walk. We are going to have 2 minutes as a cool down. So if you're feeling tender on the waist, you can take it off the waist and do some shoulder hooping, or you can do some lassoing, but you are not stopping moving those feet. We got to bring the heart rate down. I know we only did 4. Maybe next week we'll do more. But we're moving for the first minute, and then we're gonna move a little less for the last minute. Sometimes I have a problem bringing the heart rate down, especially when a tune comes on. I'm just like, I don't want to bring my heart rate down yet. Awesome. So that's 1 minute up. You can start to slow it down even more. It's up to you what you want to do. Swing and dip and rock with me. You got it good, it's plain to see what it do, what it is with the biz, with the beat. It's EF funky, fresh and free. Yeah, good. Start to figure out where your little hoop is, because we're going to be using it in a momento. All right. Let's start to move towards our little hoops. I'm actually going to use a little pink one today. Hi, little pink one. So a little hoop for now, because we're just going to use the little ones to do some core exercises. So I'm just going to move my camera down a bit so you can see me. And we are going to do a couple of sets of Superman and sit-ups. So we're going to start with the Superman because we want to end on our back, right? So let's start on our bellies. We're going to come down. We're going to have our arms out and our feet out. And I like to imagine I'm making a rectangle. So we don't want to be out like this, making a star or anything. Making nice rectangles. Everything's lined up. And I'm going to have my spine neutral. That includes my neck. And my hat's going to get in the way. But I'm going to come up and try to imagine lifting my thighs off the floor. Let's do 10 of those. I want you to count your own. Go. And whenever you're done, you can go into a child's pose or you can roll right onto your back, grabbing your little hoop. And I know a lot of you already know how to do this, but I'm just going to explain it again. So if I've got my hoop here, damn, I also got a ponytail. Everything is not working out for me. Hat plus ponytail. Why do I do it, guys? Okay, so I've got my hoop and I'm going to let the top flip back and just go underneath my neck. So it's right at the back of my neck here. And so some of you can have your legs straight. I prefer to have mine bent because of my lower back issues. But what you're going to do is you're basically going to flip as you lift, you're going to roll up. You're going to imagine rolling from the core, right? And as you roll up, you're going to lift your legs and you're going to touch the hoop, bring it back down, and then bring your legs back down. But again, I'm doing a variation, bent legs to straight legs. Okay, do 10 of those. Remember to activate that core and keep your up and down motions nice and controlled. Rolling up from the abdominal area. Breathing. Breathing is good. Excellent. And when you're done your 10, we are going to do Superman again. So finish off your 10 and get ready for 10 more Supermans. Gotta do that lower back. All right. Whenever you're ready, go into your Superman. Just count your own 10. Go. You got this. It's good for the lower back. I have to tell myself that. Yes. And whenever you're done, you're 10. We're going to do those sit-ups one more time. My back is tender today and every day, but it has been a lot lately, so I'm just being very mindful of my body. All right. Go ahead, do your 10. You know what your friends are doing right now? Not this. They would be jealous knowing that you were doing core work right now, willingly. Keep it up, you got this, you can do it. If you want to do extra, feel free. But when you are done, ooh, yes, you can just lie on the ground and put your little hoop aside when you're ready. And I'm gonna bring the tempo down just a little bit for our stretch party, because we love a good stretch party. Yeah. Yes. First, since we're on our backs, we're just gonna grab our knees and bring them into our chest. I like to kind of go from side to side very gently. This is the best moment, isn't it? When we get to stretch. All right, let's let one leg come straight while still holding on to one leg towards our chest. Just kind of gives a different vibe to the hip stretches. And let's bring both back in and release the opposite leg. Try to relax your hips towards the ground. Excellent. Okay, both feet flat on the floor, knees bent. And we're going to take one foot and place it on top of the other knee. So above the knee, as much as you can. And then you can place both hands behind the leg that's on the floor. You clasp your fingers together and gently pull in. I'm not going to do anything too strenuous just because of my lower back, but this is such a good way to stretch out the glutes and the hips. And the more you relax, the better it's for your lower back. And let's gently release, place the leg on the floor again, and then take that foot off, and let's do the opposite side. I'm coming into this very gently again. Back is a little angry. I could sit and stretch my hips forever. You probably could do them for a long time since the muscles are so big and thick. It takes a little while to actually stretch them out. Gently release that leg, place it back on the ground, remove the foot, and then we're going to roll onto our side. I say push yourself up with your hands, and we're going to come to a seated position, feet together. I'm not going to do this with you, but you're going to do a little butterfly. I can't, unfortunately, put a lot of pressure on my lower back today, but you can hold onto your ankles or feet, and you can flap your little wings. It's the tailbone for me, so. Okay, let's come into a tabletop position. And we're just going to roll through some cat-cows. Great. Tuck your toes under, and then we're going to send our hips up and back into a downward dog position. Walk our hands towards our feet, and you can dangle here. You can drop your head towards the floor, and then you can roll up, and if you need a variation, you can place your hands on your thighs and walk them up your thighs until you're standing, because sometimes you need a little bit of help. Let's do arm stretches now. I'm going to bring one across, tuck it under, and pull just to get that shoulder stretched out a little bit. And other side. Good. Let's link our fingers together, push forward and look through to our belly button. Upper back stretch. I have a soft knee as well. And coming back, link your hands behind your back, open your chest, look to the sky, soften the knees. And release, shake it out. And we're gonna do 2 great big breaths in and breaths out, and that's how we always end our classes. Whatever noises comes out is a good thing, because it probably means you needed to release that energy. Okay, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Ready? And in. And exhale. One more big inhale. Let's hold our breath at the top. Exhale. Yes. Well done, everybody. Great work. Woo-woo.